Hello, Blender folks. Welcome and welcome back to this Gnomes. Sometime I don't do streaming, right? We're going back here to the game design, right? Game development, game making, right? To be more generic. So basically, I've been investigating ways to achieve like old style graphics, some not necessarily one particular style. There are many styles, many approaches, and many of them are very cool, but I figured out that if I were to do something, the thing I had in mind with cool graphics with the limitations of one man's army and lots of textures to do, lots of scenery to decide, the gameplay also matters a lot. So I've realized that I couldn't do like unless I was doing a really like it is plausible, but I don't like for various reasons like isometric. So I want something more cinematic for the gameplay. Although we can interpolate do both, but so I had to figure out or give up because it will be too complicated. So I've had to figure out certain strategies to get these savvy solutions. So I was trying some brush. So essentially I tried many techniques and I was trying to make something effective and easy to do. And what I came to the conclusion is the following. We can use compositing in the UPBGE, and this the game engine I'm using, right? It uses a Blender interface, but it's not very simple. There are some critical limitations, but it still works. Like it doesn't have dual compositing, so I have to dump that possibility, unfortunately. But on the same time, it's good because it saves performance. It makes the compositing the scenes easier. We don't need multiple scenes. So we have to update some stuff here. So essentially, there are this idea of doing pre-rendered graphics, as they say. It's kind of tricky and very time consuming depending on if we do the traditional way, because it needs that we need to like render the viewport, right? Maybe you have something like this with a lot of assets maybe, and then we have to paint on top of that. And of course this can be very hard because if you paint on the viewport, this in Blender, this is not the best thing. There are limitations. The painting tools, texture painting in Blender sucks. Image editor sucks. Texture painting, even the grease pencil at this point is better than texture painting, but it's grease pencil, so it's not that good for certain effects. So it's very complicated. It would be easier to. I tried to. Also, I thought about what if you UV from the projection of a fixed camera, which is, yeah, I consider that, but then it's still very hard to texture paint inside Blender, and it requires a lot of precision details. So my approach here would be to carve procedural textures. These are all procedural textures, by the way, but to carve them alongside the compositor so that we could, and the UVs, right, very important, so that we can sort of have something that, with the help of compositor, can mimic some pixelated effect. And I have the pixelate on this size can change. But then there's another problem that, yeah, so here is we're not doing dual compositing, we're bench, so I dumped that. So just the EV, ambient occlusion. Then we have some fog. The fog maybe volume, I'm not sure. I was considering this, but The mist is fine, mist pass. And then environment pass, yes, or using this stuff. And then this technique here, which should allow us to... I've been using this over and over again. So this is a color ramp constant, and then the color ramp linear, or my smoother, right? So that we can mix this, or depend, there are many ways. Here I decide that we can use mix also, but I've decided here the soft light. Of course it depends, so I put this on the bottom. It is different. There are various ways to do this. Anyways, we can have even more, but this is a way to combine the softness with the hardness, and then we can sort of have a combination of shading effects, which is very good for certain graphism. And then there's the pixelation after. Yeah, there's the color, yeah, recolorization from the EV, which affects light, yeah, shading, everything, the passes, mist, environment, light objects, shader effects, right, procedural shader effects. And then we have the remix to bring in more color, but in a slightly different way. Yeah, so just like a... And this outline is that technique that I'm new to it, but it's old technique. It's so this value of pixelization, there would be questions about it. I'm leaving it at 2. So this outline is, of course, you might figure out it is made with the solidify modifier. And that is the technique to do, because in UPBGE, unless I make sprites, and I hate this idea, I love sprites, but the process is not very practical. It's like it's very complicated if you have to manage a lot of files. And for my case here, I want to have multiple cameras and the character moving in perspective, in various perspectives. So it's like I cannot count with, you see the character walking here, I cannot count with pre-rendered sprites or prepared sprite. Yeah, I cannot count with sprites. I need real-time action for the character. Even though the camera might be stiff, this I'm still considering. The character, now I have a bit more freedom because of this approach. It will be solved by the outliner because it's very much faster. Solidify outliner, there are a lot of tutorials about that. So flip, then you need to have an emission shader, could be a black color. Here it's a, and then you have to set yeah, I need this update here. I need backface culling, otherwise it doesn't work. Maybe this caused some problems, I'm not sure. So for now it's still slightly experimental. So you see you have to match, I think it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it doesn't really matter. Then you have this material offset 5, which needs to match the solidify material, the emission shader, very simple emission. And then the problem is that, of course, yeah, so this will substitute grease pencil line art, which is very heavy, maybe not as heavy as the line art freestyle, right? This is super heavy, I think. For real time, I have not tested it out, but usually this is historically known, it's not very performative. Grease pencil is also heavy. For real-time rendering, it's terrible. Not even sure UPBGE can handle this stuff. So I'm not gonna even try because I think they are heavy. Maybe at some point I'll try, but for now it is just the solidify. So you see, if we carve just with some improvements on the procedural textures. This one needs to be reworked, of course, but you see, this one from a certain distance, it looks good in the rendered effect. So if I turn this off, you see that, well, it's still colorful, it's still good, but it's no more pixelated. And there's no fog, of course, the mist pass, but you see it start to look good in terms of retro styles, and this is what I like. It was not my main approach, but I figure out that this would be a style that I think it's colorful, fantasy-ish enough for my taste. So I think it's plausible. So this brush, I was trying to do manual texturing, but no, it turns out that just playing with the UVs with some original patterns, we can do a lot. But probably we can't really change this zoom. This is something I'd like to find a way towards, but also right now I'm using some very creepy resolution but maybe this is not super important, because what is pixelizing is the compositor. So yeah, this will essentially render the same effect. So I think these graphics are very nice. Their potential is very nice. It's not like right now this is a good render, but for certain elements of the character is very cool. So, and also you see the potential of this, right? With the sunlight, some rocks here, some ground. So here is very bad, but this is where I need a lot of reshapes of the fantasy assets, basically investigations. Maybe we'll have to make some crazy I'm thinking well, you know what would be ideal? To have some sort of shader brushes. It's like we have a ground. You see, this is terrible, but I think it's possible. So sort of blending between shaders. So it's a split shader between like some grass and maybe another kind of dirt. And then I think I know how to. We can do this easily, or not so easily, with just texture painting. But then the texture painting, it's not a mask map. And so texture painting would mean that either I have the textures ready, but then it will be a single shader for the texture. So what I need to do is it's some mixed shader that, depending on a organic texture map, that will be a mask. I could blend between two or even more, in principle two different shaders in the same material. And so I can make a road of dirt blending with the grass, and they will have their own and there still be everything, every face would be affected by UV unwrapping. So we could even play with the UVs alongside this. So maybe so we could do stuff like this, right? Here is just but the thing is that I need to so there will be a problem about blending this. So this I wouldn't. So the UVs, like, it's more likely if you have a block of area which is safe to work, then you do the UVs on one type of UVs for that area, and then we can blend between the texture paint. So it's a good thing to test right now, or in this live stream at least. This will be a dynamic way of having blended shaders for more organic ground, right? Okay, but I need to go to the character because I've just started to making these outlines with the solidify modifier, and this is not good enough because we need to get this in the hair, in the eyes, in whichever material that counts, because it's per material. It's per object, yeah, per mesh object. It's a sort of inconvenience. The line art grease pencil, line art modifier of the grease pencil is like effect per collection. Okay, so let's go back to the armature, to the rigged model, and you say that the game, yeah, I want to make her be able to switch clothes, but where is the, okay, here. This is more sci-fi, so I need to update this to the fantasy. I still like them, but I think they have some equivalency here. No, they are not here, so yeah, I have something here, but there's a space agent. Okay, so I see what I need to do. Basically, we're gonna duplicate this again. We're gonna move this to the costume Space Marine. Yeah. They are here, so we don't touch this for now. We need for live override apparently to, if we don't want to show anything, linked assets, right? The linked rigged model, we need to hide. Is there a way to batch a modifier to all meshes? Like, I mean, like a compositor thing, or some other approach? I'm not sure. That will be great if that could happen. Let's try to look at something here. Is it possible to make solidify modifier line contour? Yeah, pervasive in all objects. Yeah, I can have a linked instance. Geometry nodes. How to, yeah, a good thing. So maybe a linked modifier. But this is for objects, right? Press J to bring the sync. This is not Blender. Wait, it is Blender. I think it's an add-on, maybe. Yeah, it's an add-on. Okay, let's just try something here. So I just have in the body, right, which sucks. And another thing that sucks is this modifier. Yeah, it needs to be at the end of the stack probably. So can we link this thing? Okay. We are going to start with the here because it's easy. Object. So modifiers. Linking. Link object data. Link materials, it's bad. Copy modifier, no. Transformation data. It doesn't seem to work. Maybe there's an extension at this point. There's a stuff. If anyone, if you know a solution, please tell, but I have no idea here. Yeah, I have these ideas, but apparently we don't have an inbuilt tool for this. We can try this with, like, let's just try a simple setup here. And yeah, we need a new material, so this will be like mat M. Oh, the material, it can be at the top, so it's always the first, so this will be helpful. You see that here it sort of failed to work. We need to change the setup here, right? I think it will be 1, 0, no? Why it's doing this? Yeah, it's clearly there. Blip. Negative. -4. What is this? It's like... Oh, I think this is the cause. She's using this skin here. So, why? I don't understand why this... The character has not just this material, she also has others, so... 0, -4, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. Okay, so let's just try 1 then. After the first, or before the one that is used. Yeah, this one will be super annoying, right? Very weird. There we go. Or maybe it relates to when I created the solidify modifier. Yeah, so I don't care, gonna just remake. This is not intended. Flip. Yeah, it is this one. And no, it still considers -4, yeah, for some weird... The material is not the the solidify modifier has nothing to do with this. So anyways, as simple as it is, or it shouldn't, right? So if you link this, we'll have problems, if it were even possible to link this, right? Okay, let's get this one. So I need to copy here. And the material, -1, I guess. Well, it seems to be the same value. Maybe if we can do this always negative, we get, no matter how many materials it got, it will lead to the... Okay, so I found a solution here. At least this will help copy pasting the materials, but that's all. We can probably dump this. But let's try first to link data. I don't want this other scene here. We are not gonna use this dual compositing here. I don't know what happens to the object though. Yeah, it's the mirror maybe. Yeah, so whatever, let's just use the copy selected modifiers, so solidify. We need another one. Yeah, not so many assets, it's fine. I shouldn't have the body. There we go. Control L, so no, Control C in this case. Copy attributes extension. Selected modifiers, just this solidify. So this goes at the end. Of course, we have problems because we need to add manually. And this is tedious for everything. I think there is no way to batch this. Can we alt add material? No. Copy material to selected. There you can. Yeah. No alt needed here. That seems to have worked. They are the top, but we got some bad event. Oh yes, this is solidifying the shrink wrapping effect. So this is actually pretty bad for the eye. And yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff which happens here. Maybe we shouldn't have here. Here we have also some trouble with this one. It's a specific case. Oh yeah, because this is this rig is different. So in this case, we're gonna put it towards the end. It's another case in which we need yeah, so these glitches, I think they were, sometimes they are, no, we can change here, but to no avail. Yeah, so this one is another one that suffers from some sort of shrink wrap. Well, not shrink wrap here, but yeah, it's a specific case. It's sort of ugly. Maybe with the render it's not so bad. Okay, what happened to the eye here? Like, we got the wrong colors here. I copied. Oh yeah, I see what's happened. What a disgrace. So basically we got the wrong materials, right? They were extrapolate this operator copy materials. It's fake. It we reported. It overrode the. Where is... Okay, I think I have here. And here also we got this wrong. Okay, so this one we have here. There we go. So this is happening. There is some problem with this. Yeah, I think it's because of this one. So this is very dangerous actually with some other interactions. Maybe if I apply it before the shrink wraps, but yeah, so that could be safer, because if I apply it here, Okay, so this looks like an alternative. So we're gonna do this. Yeah. It needs to do this solidification before. We can't really control the vertex groups because it will affect the mesh, and the mesh is shrink wrapping target, so I think there's little we can do here. So that dangerous method. So, but I think we can use it. So here we got line art, right? This is another one. Yeah, this is the basic one. This is the other one. We need to make sure we are using the proper something here. I think because of the shrink wrapping, right? Same thing. So we want actually to yeah, we need to see if we can cheat here. Okay, we can cheat here in some way. Maybe I need to reduce this. No, this is so slight that it doesn't seem to cause too much problem. And then, yeah, this is, yeah. Okay, like this can work. And then there's more glitches, yeah, so a lot of problems to solve here and there. Start to get critical in the face, but for the close-ups, actually, this is not so much problem, because when I gonna make a dialogue, this will be in the game, this will be portraits, and they won't rely on these systems. I can change them. Why it's all inverted? Yeah, it's because we have a subdivision, right? Okay, because of course this material is not ready, so you need to do this one by one, yeah. All right, so not too bad. So this one has some problem because it's already solidifying maybe. Yeah, so the advantage here, this is just for currently for this fantasy project. That means that I don't need to transpose this thing to every single mesh object. So also it's likely I won't need to transpose them here, but no, I mean for the mouth. But maybe if she opens her mouth, there's some tricky line right here which is bad, so I'm gonna ignore. Yeah, the arcades are not gonna show. We can do this another time. So we need to improve these assets here, and that will be another story. For now, it's just yeah, all this material is gonna be changed, so I think we're gonna have I think I have this one in the no, it's not ready yet. Okay, so we have this one here. As for this, this of course we need. Yeah, not really helping. Yeah, it sounds much better, right? But this whole asset, right, we need to revise, rewave paint, all that. Yeah, no, nothing like that. Maybe this one. Also not. Yeah, so nothing here for... What I have was just... this is sort of a ladder thing. I don't have a ladder thing. So this was the closest thing to it. Yeah, so some cool pattern starts to emerge. And also... yeah, this also works. Yeah, so this is one of the tricks of the, you see, of texture or faking pixelated retro texture. You make complex patterns out of procedural. If we are able to scale them down to make a good pattern and allow it to scale down correctly to in the certain distance with that is, we need to control the distance, of course, from the camera. So not zoom out in too much. So if we can do this, then we can totally... This one is not even ready. We can probably do something about it. I don't remember this one. Is this even affected by the UVs? It doesn't seem to be affected by UVs. Yeah, no, it is. No, we have the wrong material. Looks like we don't have the... Okay, so I'm gonna make UV for this. And as for this one, the glossy... What is this glossy one? Oh yeah, it's a double thing, right? Mix shader. Yeah, it's a glossy thing. Maybe we can also... No, this is a shader, right? Okay. So weird one, this maybe I need another thing here. A diffuse. So one is diffuse, the other is... Yeah, actually we need a mask, right? Glossy affects everything, but maybe it's not what we want, right? Okay, so this is the mask. So if we got... Yeah, it's heavy, so yeah, I've ruined the thing. So probably we need some, and it's something to affect this color here. There's no color here. Oh, I see. Yeah, we need a color, right? And then we can probably mix. Well, no, it's already doing, right? To have double shaders here. That can also work. So this is just the mask, right? Which defines... Yeah, so a lot goes into how we solve this, and alright, whatever. We can try this. And I think we've upgraded the material. Yeah, this is just because the rig is disabled. Yeah, we... Good. Okay, so now we need to replicate this thing in here before I address the rest. We can give the velvet here. We can try the same size here. Also, here we don't want these others, so we're gonna apply the same. Something that will make sense, whatever. Then there is still this part here. Yeah, so this one is using that material. So here we don't want this. Okay, so this simplifies our job. Then we have this cloak here. It's fine that it got these patterns, yes. But what about this side thing here? Metal dark? No, I think. Let's review this. So here is more about... There are a lot of interesting patterns which occur to this. Basically, this is one of these shaders. I don't remember how I made it. Let's check. It's very simple, but you have a texture, which is a pattern. It's an image texture that... Let's check what it looks like here. Plot patterns. Yeah, it's apparently... No, it's a Dorothy... Plot patterns, okay. So I don't know why it has... Probably a textured map something, the whole set of costume, but it's not needed anymore. Then we have this stuff like here. And whichever thing you have, then you manually paint, I guess. And then we... Or just bake something. It doesn't matter. So then once you have something like this, you can just get this into... Wait, why it is... Oh, because this is linked, just because, but it's working. So here we got this mix shader. So either it is a glossy thing, either is this noise texture, which looks like velvet. So this was with this color ramp pattern, and so in this way we can do a lot of... But we can then, of course, pick the... Yeah, this is just a small readjustments, it doesn't matter. So then we can just pick the whole mesh. This is never good, apparently. Very disrupted. Long time I've made this cloak anyways. And I've duplicated it over and over again for different versions, so it's kind of never... So I make unique adjustments for this one, that's fine. I want them to be different, unique. They are still cloaks for the character. So here we're gonna get this and we're gonna try some UVs. Then the best thing is that we get the UV editing, and from here, if we have visibility, we can play with the patterns. And because there's a mirror modifier, of course, whichever we do, this not always good, but in this case it's usually advantageous. But the problem here is that the thing is so chaotic, and I just, oh, it's working, so I never care too much then to change this or make a new pattern. But see, whatever random thing, this is already great. So let's try the... It'll better if we have here the mirror, right? Yeah, so you can stay forever doing some developments here. This is just 2 materials. Imagine if I had... Sometimes it's just difficult to get something really convincing, but like for this one, I think something like this is very, very cool, right? Maybe we can try to augment on some direction, rotate more or less. Yeah, so okay, I think I'm gonna keep this one something like this, right? Looks good enough for me. And yeah, and if we don't like some area, we can, of course, yeah, I'm not gonna do this, but we could, of course, UV just... Like you see, this is crazy, right? It's not necessarily conflicting with the rest. Okay, and then we have this part, which we're gonna change also. Metal dark. No, we're using another pattern here. What's about this one? This is not gonna... Yeah, it's not good, but we want this one, right? The name of that one was Matte F, Fabric, Lounge, yeah, so I'm okay with these ones. They make sense, but they are the scale is not very good right now, I think. I don't think I have control of the inside very much. Okay, apparently we can't use this one for some reason. Okay, something like this works. So I got this one ready. Here we're gonna do the more stuff. So we have this crystal. Not sure this crystal is working for this in this kind of renderings, or the material is just too bad. But I'm gonna keep it just a single detail. So here I have these pipes. Maybe I have to keep this or not. I think yes, but just maybe change their UVs. I think this one's a little better than smart. Like some stacking metal patches. I think it's fine. Just a little more. Should it be smaller or less detail is smaller here. Okay. And then we have this material, which is the part inside, which we're gonna change for the... Yeah, so here we have various options. It will be the leather thing, I guess. But yeah, let's just get the leather and see. Or whatever. Let's try various things here. Or we could make maybe... This one is interesting. Give a difference, right? But we see that it's not... doesn't seem to be controllable by UV, so this is... I need to change this material. Right now it's not wrong, but it could be better. We can leave this for now here. And here we got the wrong material. Crystal. Can we do something about its UVs? Oh, you can, of course. Good. So we're gonna... There are some crazy patterns to explore here. We don't see the actual pattern here in the texture, but we're just gonna... The mirror here is sort of hard to get something appealing. This material that I've made, right, it's a bit chaotic. But it's not too hard to get something of interest, right? It's still fantasy, so whatever. We don't care too much. More about some cool designing idea, good composition, whatever. The best thing would be to edit these UVs. I don't remember right now. Hard to decide, so... Okay, just whatever that looks good. Okay, that can be it for now. And finally, is there's still this one? Yes, what are you using? You're using some checkers and this metal. Okay, so this one we barely see anything, so we're gonna change this for the something that we are using already in this it's terrible. Now let's use the rubber, yeah, this leather thing. As for this one, yeah, we're gonna totally change its the squares. Yeah, they should be tiny, not very. Okay, so maybe this could work. A small change to the mesh here. Shouldn't be too much destructive for the rig. This overlapping, right? It's not working very good for this thing. So okay, let's. Right, now we got back here. We can go back to pose. Let's see if the eyes are not getting too crazy. No, that seems fine. And the velvet. Okay, so here the patterns are very bad. Here I've decided to use this. We can use both colors, yes. Like here and the top, maybe we can use the. Maybe I want to change these ones so we can use this for pipes, maybe. It doesn't make too much sense on the bottom though. Very solid boots. And okay, so here we're gonna get the velvet. Apparently we need to be very large to make this more homogeneous. Okay, that works. Let's synchronize them. Then this part we're gonna make I shouldn't be touching this. I have not seen the model as it should, but that's okay. Let's do this. Let's just get this one and exchange for the matte fabric. This one. Okay, something like this, and then we keep here, so this is fine. Just some cool variations, and for this one we can what is this creepy? Okay, so there's a little problem with the solidify there, but we don't care right now. Or we can simplify this whole mesh. Yeah, this is too much stuff going on here. Stupid development here. Oh yeah, we can see maybe where we're getting the mistake. Yeah, so it was an old setup. With a lot of topological pain. But I can still know what's causing this. Ah, yeah, I see. Maybe it's just this geometry there. No. Yeah, let's try to look this simultaneously. Now, it's something about the armature, so it might be some interaction with the wave painting after all. Not necessarily something wrong about the geometry itself. Okay, anyways, worth investigating later, but for now we're gonna get it's like there's one vertex going crazy somewhere. Yeah, there's like wave paint mistake. Indeed. Okay, so apparently it's indeed this vertex here. We have to find some, oh yeah, some rogue wave. Or added waves here. Come on, you need to. There we go. Okay, let's bring back this material. And keep doing this to attempt finding some cool patterns here. Yeah, it's kind of hard, so we're gonna do something like this one is more versatile. Okay, this one is nice. I need to also fix this cloth has special, this is texture paint in the material. It contains some variations that will make this glossy thing, so no need skinning for this thing. But then there's some thing here that maybe I need to change. This color here, I think it's yeah, so this is probably something that I was incomplete. So I just left with this variation, but actually is it part of that? Yeah, it is part of here, so it's just a question of texture painting this again, more likely. Alright, so we added the solidify stuff. What we can do is just change the some are more complicated to handle. Yeah. Some I might not even be able to sustain. All right, that's great. So now what we do is that we need to bring this back to the other scene. So since we are updated as an extension, and now we've got all the assets, essentially all the elements that were needed, even the glaive, into this render type. Then we'll have to add this perhaps to other materials, right? There's some things in the texture here of the character that I need to be remaking, right? The hands, the fingers, the skin itself, and some makeup, and yeah, some various patterns. And I'm using Blender Kit, as you see, but not sure. Yeah, so it's not so much for the textures, because I need to make this integrate, not disintegrate. I must make this integrate on 3 assets for now. There are not so many, but there are improvements maybe over time, and I'm looking only for low poly stuff. So sometimes there are some low poly trees and stuff like that which are interesting. So I'm not gonna bring them right now. Let's just turn these off. So you need to filter low poly, otherwise you'll end up with a lot of crazy assets that are only good for very complex scenes. So here the thing is that each part of the scenery needs to be treated for the gameplay with a plan, right? So it's very difficult, but at least because I have a bit more versatility here, because I don't need to fix a camera on a certain angle. I don't need to respect an angle to have a good shot. So it's like I can work a little. Okay, this is a good shot. I don't know what is a good shot. Let's say this would be a good shot. Then this will be an entrance for a cavern, for a cavern, tavern, or tavern. But I need to this mist is going nuts because it shouldn't be. I don't know how to solve this. Maybe just hide this, because the mist is there, but I don't want it to grow up there. It's a thing that maybe we cannot control. I tested with a dark light, but it just doesn't work. Like how to counter mist in the distance. So there's a proposition, maybe mist with volumetrics, volume object. I think that will be too heavy for performance as opposed to the mist pass. So I'm not gonna even test it out. It's like, doesn't look very smart idea, but I should test, right? But I can let this closed for a while, or just if we are looking at here straight, we just can have this shot without the mist. It turns off right on demand. Like we can add a driver, right? So we can just do this. You see, no much mist here to count. Yeah, so here's the solution. So ready, build the thing. And okay, so here's the solution, right? It's per shot. So this is just assets for testing stuff, right? Same for this cube, we can delete. Okay, it's time to get these assets here. You know what? This is not good to be here. We need to organize this thing, right? Because yeah, this is okay, let's do like this. Because this is the linking scene asset, right? We have made the character here, but I don't need to have her here actually. So she's not gonna be linked. This point is just for testing, so I don't want to. Okay, shrub. We're gonna parent this here. Actually, I'm gonna make a new collection. Props. I'm gonna parent this here, and we want this to be parented here. There we go. Mountains. Yeah, whatever. Terrain, right? This is part of the terrain, yeah, or maybe not. Good, good, good. And ideally, we want to make them into collections as well. So we need to. And why do I have all these cameras? Let's see where. What is this? Yeah, so all these cameras, they are. I don't really care about them right now. They are just for mapping. We're not gonna bring them, but it will be good to be able to bring some. Because here we are building making some experiments, but essentially here this file is for making the scenery assets. But since this is pure Blender, not a BGA, is better for doing these certain experiments not directly relative to the game engine. Okay, so I don't want. Here we can bring this outside. We don't want to link relinked stuff, right? Although, you know what? No, let's not do this. She's ready from another shot already, so that the original, so we don't need to care about this. we I almost forgot, so we want this compositor here. But we don't want this one with, so I'm gonna make a duplicate here. This one is tests. This one is the one I'm using, and we're gonna dump this stuff. Good, and here we could also organize some stuff here. Yeah, we don't need this, don't need this. Since we have the other backup there, we can just so this is like mist and world environment. This is like AO ambient occlusion plus build, yeah, so like balance. I don't like how bad it is to read. I don't know what they've done here, but in Blender. So here we're gonna get the so this is like the pre-render black and white graphic. Yeah, like this is like the sort of a gray scale black one plus yeah, whatever, yeah. Okay, and here final filters. There's just a small diamond sharp to sharpen up certain... Yeah, there's some artifacts, but they are rare. And so the cool thing is that this is real-time rendering. And there we go. So if you get the texture scaling from the procedural good enough, then that means we can have good results even with the yeah, this is too pixelated, so I think it's maybe not a good idea. And the idea, if we colorize more or less, will depend on the... Okay, now that we have these things ready, why not bring this light here already? So it's like a lamp. Because this is evening, sunset. We might have already some lights up. All right. So this is, although the name is here, we're gonna make some changes. This is an old version. We're gonna make it like old, and this we're gonna... Okay, saving. Do this, all right. And now we can close this because we're gonna open a BGA. This will require, okay, we've lost a lot of data here because we need to reset. Well, we're gonna actually resync and force. So we have now, this was using but we don't have the compositor. So we're gonna this compositor doesn't really interest me, so we're gonna bring the this one. No, this is an entire scene. No. Yes, this one. Apparently this is not working. We can delete this, I guess. Yeah, now you see the pixelization, the mist, the sunset, the light object, but this is not radiant as it was before. Not sure what we've got here that is so different. We're not using this for anything special here, so in UPBGE we've lost the data here, unfortunately. But it's okay, we don't really need those. It's just for... Sometimes it looks great, but that's not important. Let's render this, let's see what's happened. No output. What is happening? Oh, I see what's happening. The difference is that my viewport, I think we have some differences here. Yeah. Okay, don't touch anything, it's just this standard. Although it could make some... Yes, we could play with some stuff here if... High contrast, medium high contrast. Known. Okay, let's try this one. Looking for this. Okay, here we reduce grain to 0.01. Not this, although this may also work. But we're gonna... Transparent, I'm not sure here. Yeah, I think not. Maybe we can use this shadow here. Simplify, render. There's no outline, right? Let's bring the character. Though there is a playing system. What camera is this one? Camera main, yeah, it should not be here. It's a point and click. Why it's taking time to play. Apparently we got some stuff got broke here. Yeah, point on click not working, I think. So this thing should be working, right? What's going wrong here? Player capsule. Apply to selected target click. Okay, whatever. Long time I don't touch this. So maybe it's normal that it's broken. Maybe some asset has been changed because I changed the links and that caused some... the ground, of course. The ground. This is not the same. And that means that it doesn't have the... It was relinked, right? So you need to... Library... yeah, maybe this will not even be sufficient. Okay, let's make a cheat here. On init, on initiate. I think this works. So property set object property. No, it does not create, so we don't have anything to copy from. Oh, add. Okay, so can't find. All right, so it needs to be an existing one. Whatever. Whatever, let's make a... Because these are linked assets, so they don't get... okay, so we can cheat here. I don't remember if it starts like that, but it's not a property for switching. Well, let's say it has or it has not. Okay, so oh no, this is not the property or attribute. I always confuse here, but that probably won't work. It's add the value. It's not adding a... Yeah, so useless. We need so I'll have to do the hard way. So make local, and now we can add the game property. And now it works. So there's something wrong about this rotation. There are a lot of things here. Probably we don't move the camera. There are a lot of things more about moving the character. But you see, we got things working. So it's just... But we don't need this. This will be more dynamic, right? But there's a glitch here I can't fix. It's a recurrency effect. Yeah, I say this is not very good. We shouldn't be doing this anyways. So the game isn't to be that dynamic, at least not currently. So it's more about moving without moving the camera, right? So what's happening here is that the camera is currently parented, right? More like this, right? And then we have a camera swapping of position, and the question, because of the fog, is should I make various cameras or just one camera? So you can have thousands of cameras, or reposition camera is easy, but It needs to be thought. So here you enter another error, so we have a sweep traveling the camera. Maybe we just change the camera. Yeah, there's another problem. Good thing about having multiple cameras, because in the compositor there's a serious problem. Either because I need this to use the compositor properly. Wait, now the compositor is not being ruined. Okay, it's lagging a little, I don't know why, but yeah, so the thing is that because I'm using the compositor, I want to use the compositor, I am not able to use the set. So something happens that the camera, we cannot manipulate, unfortunately, this field of view from the nodes. But maybe, I haven't tried, maybe from the brick nodes. Let's try to demonstrate here. So you see I can force the camera. So having multiple cameras will allow me to swap this per camera. So FOV, so like yeah, like mouse or yeah, mouse button, right? Tap I don't know, middle button, and for this camera change the field of view, right? But nothing happens. This is something else that is related to the middle mouse button, so it's not working, and this won't do any difference. So this is because apparently yeah, this is because of the, if I understood properly, is because of this stupid thing. Yeah, they conflict. Strangely enough, though, this time the compositor seems to be working. So let's reparent the camera here to the it's super laggish. I don't know what's lagging so much, but is the real, even the icon is bugged. Okay, another reason for not having the compositor, yeah, the moving camera, right? Yeah, the lag still exists. This will be very bad. Let's make a test here, like this should be linked, but I think when it's linked, there's a problem with the What's going on? Why suddenly everything is so bright? Maybe I should load. Yeah, I don't know what was this. Okay, but this is just stupid. Can probably recover this in various ways. The nodes here are the same. Oh, I see. Maybe it's the... I made change to the... to this, right? No, but there's little thing here, yeah. It's not even the mist that is causing all that. Okay, whatever. This is tricky, but we're getting the things. All right, so we need to bring Dorothy, the main character. The idea is that we'll have... yeah, we need to bring her into here. This will not be the final version of the character. We want to make a low poly one. Will be just by taking off the, at least for the moving character, right? So this one has the solidified. Why she's okay? No, unclear why she's like that. But here we're gonna make sure that okay, make selected and content. We won't be able to is the rig working? Yeah, okay, this time the rig is working. Want to simplify. It was not set. Why this? No, the capsule. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you parent this to the capsule, but here we'll have to apply the collisions will be all wrong, right? Yeah, this is collisions problem, so now the nightmare begins. But the problem is just that we need to yeah, so this is very bad for this asset stuff. We need to I forgot this so we need to append instead of linking. So this is the but since I've been trying to do workarounds, apparently there is one thing we can do. So if we do this, okay, so we'll have to at least see the character. Okay, so there's a physics. There is a way to affect. So you need to change for all these objects the physics type to no collisions. And so it turns out there is a set physics character. It is not no, it's not this. I think it's this one. So we want on init. No, we can't change the there we go. So if it's here, it goes nuts. So the problem is that we'll have to do this for every single object, but it is doable if this solves the problems. There might still be some issue because it's not that I'm not sure what it is going to do static active collision. Well, it's unactivating, so that's fine. It's like no collisions, I assume. This kind of information should be... So I'm gonna make... Well, no, let's just make it for the essentials. And just in case the... Okay, so I can't copy paste, so armature. So this is something I've just found recently, this node. It was a bit obvious, but it took me a while to figure out. Can we get a collection? I don't know how this works, right? Yeah, it's very weird. I don't know how to use this. Not sure this is the thing. Yeah, whatever. Let's keep doing this. Here, yeah, here, of course. Here, symmetric, here, asymmetric. This is not the cleanest way, but we can do also this, yeah. And then the costume, which will be just one for this. The names are all weird. But this will auto-update when I improve the links. Oops, not this. Six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay, so we need to make the animations, right? The character turn and all that. So for a while I was deciding, had to decide how we control how the game works, right? I'm not satisfied with this mist, so I believe this has to do with the camera settings more than the compositing. So this is... Why I can't change this? No, bad idea. Let's just do it from here. It's easier. Ah, I see why we need to apply this shading. Well, no, this is still... Also, it's not working. Maybe I'll have a... Yes, there is extra sun here. Oh, great. Crash. Okay, so this is making the crash. Okay. Not sure why, but it doesn't matter. We can turn everything into local assets. There might be some old stuff here also. Yeah, those links seems correct. Why? So the sunset, why I'm not able to see it? This is not because of the light, so it's not... of course it's the mist pass, but where? This is not from the world? Although I'm not sure, let's place... Can we change those things here? I think to change these things we need to change. Alright, so we haven't saved here. Yeah, so here we see this gizmo changing, so that's what we need. So we need less mist, so indeed what we need to do is to adapt. Yeah, this is horrible. Sometimes I need to have this enable, disable is like very annoying to handle. Why? She's naked. Almost. So we need to... this thing, right? All right. Okay, it didn't crash. Good. Re-render here. There we go. Okay, so something about this setup here. Ah, it's this add. It was okay, so it was just added wrongly the environment. Okay. Let's just Maybe alpha over should be the most logical, I think. Background. And foreground, yeah, I think. Okay, this adding is destroying the... What is the type of mist? Strange, nothing is changing. Not good sign. Can't spot this direct. Of course, this overlay is garbage. So maybe here we need another alpha over. I think I've tried that and it didn't really work out. Maybe here is the opposite. Foreground, background. Yeah, so if you ask me, I find this super confusing, but okay, we see that we got it. What are those things they try to manage themselves? It was automatically created by a BGA, I think. Maybe it's too late. I've deleted it. I don't care. Recolorizing, that's it. So yeah, whatever please better the eyes. And this pixelate, we could have the effect like usually it's better at the end, but for organization sometimes you want to spot stuff happening here, and I think we can do this. I can easily compare here. So see the difference there is between the texture that gets more pixelated in the background and the ones that doesn't get enough pixelization in the foreground. This is the danger here of this method, since I'm not being able to render this like dynamically. Well, it is dynamical, but this is the problem, the scaling problem, right? So you see, they look some texture, we just can't get too close to them, or we'll get to look the real pattern that is a bit more shady and complex and not attractive for the style. So that means that everything in the scenery like this is very bad right now. Maybe it works from a longer shot, but what we need is to make sure that even when we are close enough, these patterns, they get simplified. Let's see. Here from the far away it looks good, but as I approach, of course here I don't have the camera, so I can't really compare. I need to use the camera with the compositor. Well, actually you don't need the camera because we can do this. And so not enough pixelization, some amount, but we can rework that anyways. This will need to make a different camera. Okay, it's time to test this out. if per camera we can get a apparently the fog is not affected by the camera settings, and there is nothing. Yeah, so we can't, this is global, we can't control by the camera the fog, but this is okay. What we can still do is to look how beautiful this is. Not this though, but this. So here the will be to toggle by driver the mist pass, or maybe by the nodes itself if we can access the property, but the driver should be sufficient. More rigging like. I have to solve this fact that we don't seem to be able to move forward. Click outside, yeah. Maybe besides the size of the camera, I need a protection zone. So we can click, but nothing happens there. Yeah. No, nothing here will help. So I don't know how to do this, but there should be a way to limit the area of the... Yeah, we can hide it, but now it will be in front of the clicks. We have X-ray, alright, that will not be a problem. I need to make the render larger, right? So times 1.2. This allows to click further, right? I think it's because she's floating or something. No, it's because of something related to the distance, right? So if I can click here, yeah, and then there's a deacceleration. I think this is because the character might not be following the... No, the character should be following the... Okay, folks, that's it for today. So it's a lot of improvements here. So this is what makes me certain now that the graphism challenge was beaten up. That means that I'm comfortable with this graphic style. I think this can be, because if it was not for doing a potentially good graphic style, then I wouldn't do the project, because I had started out with an idea and it was very clear in my mind, but when I was fighting off the making of the assets, the scenes, planning for the UPBGE and Blender, right, the challenge of game graphics making, you know, I have a lot of materials, assets in sci-fi already for composing scenes. If you're interested, I'm selling the package. I just don't have the scenes that you see in my channel, the sci-fi, Starship, all that, and some others. And there in my Gumroad there is some content about this. Some shaders here are there, like yeah, like this one, these patterns. Yeah, actually plenty of things here. Velvet, whatever, it's not the character itself, it's there. So these metals, these patterns, and these are both sci-fi and fantasy, but I'll need a lot of them new ones for fantasy. This grass sucks, it doesn't work, it just works in certain circumstances. I need to, right, it works if I change the UVs, of course. It will be not too different than this one. This one is just testing, and so a lot of things needs to be done, and I'll be using some free assets of the Blender kit, but essentially I need to make my own at the same time. So I'm gonna make all sort of assets, and with the compositing solved, with this pixelized, this line art with solidify, so a lot of things that I had to figure out in order to revamp, right? What I wanted to do in the start wasn't possible. I wouldn't be able to do this properly after some research and struggle. And now, but with this change, I feel comfortable that will be sufficient. So I can make a good demo, even more than a demo. So it'll be a blobber. So she has her friends, so you can pick them at some point. Not in the demo, but right, the bigger version, so you can, the full version or chapter, let's say, like that, and then you can point and click and explore the world, and then that's it. Each one of them has different comment. The text system it's like fundamental, the dialogue system, so I need to start establishing this, as long as the puzzle, the lore and all that. So the graphism part was a big barrier, because if I couldn't find this thing that I'm doing now, I tried several things and everything didn't sound sufficient for me, folks. So and yeah, with a large team or a team of specialists, of course we could do pre-rendered graphics, a lot of texture, beautiful stuff even. But what's for single person for videos will be too extremely overwhelming. So I thought that yeah, we need to find a new graphics solution, and here it is. So it might not be the best possible, but it is very effective and performative, and I think that should be enough. Thanks for watching, folks. So take care, have a dinner, have a nice feast if possible.